Hi, I am Mark Goodmanson, and I was born, well, back in the 1950s. And I'm going to tell you my kind of coming out story. There's a lot of younger guys do it on YouTube, but they have different experiences than we who grew up in the 1960s and 70s. I was in high school in the 1970s. I grew up in Southern California, and I grew up as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's the Mormons, commonly known as the Mormons. And we were a rather strict religion that we were in. And one of the things I remember when I was in high school, we'd have a lot of different kinds of Sunday school classes. They also we'd go to seminary and other things. And one of the things they taught us was that the church was very against homosexuality, and they said that it was a choice. And I remember that it was taught that that sexual sin was second only to murder, which would mean that, if I held up a bank at gunpoint, that was less serious than committing a sexual sin. So it was considered very, very serious. Second only to murder. So anyway, I remember being taught that. I remember them teaching about, I remember this one class, and I didn't know what homosexuality was. I thought it was men that wanted to dress up like women. The other thing was that it was a sin to be homosexual, and that was something you chose, and don't make that choice. Don't ever choose that. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I would never choose something like that. Why would I want to choose to be a homosexual person? At the same time, when I was in high school, I didn't really have a lot of interest in the girls, and I didn't know why. I thought that I was maybe just a late bloomer, and I noticed that I was looking at the guys a lot and not the girls, and I thought maybe it was that I was jealous. Maybe I wanted to look like them or something. All I knew is that that was what I seemed to be looking at. I was attracted to them somehow, but I didn't understand it. I knew that I had to be different than the others, but I didn't understand what it was. Certainly I couldn't be homosexual because I didn't choose that. I felt very different, and those feelings led me to pray a lot. I used to pray literally, and I'm not kidding you, every single day I would pray, please God, please Heavenly Father, help me to be normal. Help me to just be normal like everybody else. And I didn't understand why I wasn't having the interest, but I thought, well, I'm a late bloomer. It'll come later. Well, I used to see the movies, with people falling in love, the men and women falling in love, and they kiss, and there's the fireworks and all of that. I didn't understand that. I decided that the Hollywood depiction of what love was, or the chemistry, was just a myth. I served as a missionary for the church, and then came back from my mission. And when you come back from your mission, they tell you, it's very strongly tell you it's time to get married. And I had hardly dated anybody. So I did a couple dates. There was one girl that was in the young adults that we hang out a lot and just as friends, and we'd talk, things like that. I liked her, and I could say I loved her, but it was a different kind of love. It was loving her like I would my sister, or my mother, or a good friend. Now looking back, I proposed to her. We got married. We got married in the Los Angeles Temple, and stayed married for many years. And all of the time thinking that I was straight, that I was not gay, knowing that I was different somehow, but I didn't get the connection until well into our marriage. And I started taking some therapy because I knew there was something wrong. And I went to therapy and I went to a Mormon therapist. And the Mormon therapist goes, well, you're homosexual. And I was like, no, I can't be. I didn't choose that. Well, you don't choose it. Well, the church teaches it. They don't anymore, but at the time they taught it, that you chose that. It's like, well, I didn't choose this. And I went home from that meeting devastated because I couldn't believe, he was right. He explained it to me. And I like, what am I going to do? I married someone, and now this is not fair to her. I felt like I shouldn't even be alive. And I was so confused at the time. And I nearly, I was going to commit suicide. And I thought it was going to be better for everybody that I'd just be gone, that it'd be better for her. I wasn't doing this because I felt sorry for myself as much as that I thought it screwed it up for everybody. And how can you, and I didn't understand how could I be this worded, I never make any choice for this. And it was, I wrote a note and I went out. I was going to actually jump off a bridge. And partway through, I remembered I was walking through a forest and there was snow on the ground, and I knelt down and I tried to pray. I didn't pray, and I did it out loud. I was trying to do it like Joseph Smith did, out loud, and thinking that, and I knew, God answers prayers. I thought he answers prayers, at least that's what I thought. And I'd been praying every day to help me be normal, and as I prayed, I said, what do I do? Take this from me, please, please. And nothing happened. I walked further, and unfortunately it was longer than I thought to go to where the bridge was. But it was good for me because it gave me a chance to think. I saw the sparkles on the snow and how beautiful it was out there, and I was like, no, I thought it through and realized, no, this would be devastating to her and to my family, and it's like, okay, this is the worst thing to do. This is not the thing to do. And I went home, took the note back and went back to bed, and she never knew that happened. So I told her, as soon as I knew, by the way, that I was gay. And she was accepting of it. She was like, it's fine. And I was like, but this isn't fair to you, because this isn't what you didn't buy into this because you didn't know. And I didn't know when I was married. I wish I did. I wish I'd figured myself out. The LDS therapist at the time and the church felt that you could change and that you could do what was called reparative therapy, which is they also call it conversion therapy as well. And I started doing that in order to become straight. They actually didn't call it homosexuality. They called it same-sex attraction, that you had because I'd never had a homosexual experience. I was a good, worthy, temple-worthy Mormon, and I would not ever cheat on my wife or do anything like that. And I So I started this therapy and joined a group called Evergreen, which no longer exists in the church, thinking that I could become straight. And again, I was praying at least a half an hour a day. I'd get on my knees and pray, please help me to do this, please help me to be straight. I did everything they would. The therapist told me to go play basketball with people. It'd be an appropriate activity. I remember playing basketball over at the culture hall with guys that were members of the fire department. And it's like, okay, these are hot looking guys. Like, okay, this is really helping me to be straight. I'm looking at them, getting attracted to them. And I kept thinking, what is wrong with me that I am praying and I believe in it so much. And I believe that if you have, I believe that if you had the faith of a mustard seed, you could move mountains. I believed that. I believed that God would answer that prayer. That if he wanted me to be straight, he would do it for me, because I was neurotic about praying about it so hard, and I wanted it so bad. I wanted to be straight. I wanted to follow what I was believing and what I believed at the time. Hint, I kind of don't believe it anymore. So through the therapy made me just get worse. It made me believe that I was mentally ill. They taught that you were disturbed and mentally ill. If you tell someone they're mentally ill enough times, they'll act out on it, and I ended up acting out on it. I had some suicide attempts. I ended up in mental hospital several times. It went from bad to worse. It was a disaster. You can't change yourself. You can't change your sexual orientation. You can't. I know beyond a shadow of doubt that you can't, and I also know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I did not choose to be gay, that I was born that way. Or somewhere along the way I became gay, but I didn't choose it. That I know. Finally, I went through a period of depression, and for several years I just was paralyzed. And for 2 years of it, I was in bed most of the time. I was so paralyzed by this. And actually the therapist for the gay to straight therapy, they actually dropped me. They said that I was too much of a I was too low and too much of a suicide risk. And how's that on your, wow, they won't even give you therapy anymore because you're too dangerous for suicide. Gay to straight therapy leads people to suicide. This is what it does. It leads people to suicide. Don't let your children be involved in it. Don't be involved in it. It is fraud. It is quackery. Gay to straight therapy is wrong. It is bad. It's pseudoscience. It is not scientific, and it does not work. I don't want to see other people going through what I went through. My youth, so much of my life was a tragedy because of not understanding myself. That it's okay. It's okay to have those feelings. It's okay to be gay, okay? It's all right. When I finally got to accepting myself, and it wasn't really till I got looking on the internet and doing the research as far as looking at the real science behind it. And I didn't want to go against what the church taught, and I didn't want to go what say gay people are saying, okay? I wanted to know the science. I wanted to be objective about it. I wanted to be fair about it because I believed the church, and the church was differing with science with this. Now, since then, the church has accepted that you don't choose it. But can be gay, but you can't act gay, is how it works. But guys, it's okay. It's okay. It's not bad to love someone else, and it's not bad to love someone else of the same sex. I so wish I could have the years back and be young and to be able to meet some young guy and have a relationship where it has the real kind of love that has the fireworks, you know. Don't let this happen to you. I'm so happy now that I've accepted myself, but I'm so sad that I lost so many years. And that's what I can say. Just be yourself, be true to yourself, and be honest with yourself and others. I believe in honesty, and I don't believe in lying. That's why the moment I figured it out, I told my wife. Now we're no longer married. We ended up divorced, and it's probably the best thing that could have happened to both of us. It allowed her to be free, and it allowed me to explore my feelings as well. And I guess that's it. It's okay to be gay.